The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Anjana Dodamgoda and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. The President says collective progress essential to forge a robust nation. The government is to grant land ownership to 10,000 families in January. The SLTB to boost public transport with 200 new buses in 2024. The government is to invest 160 million rupees in tech to grow big onions. 2 people injured, several vehicles damaged after 2 trees collapse in Kandy. And on international news, dense fog shrouds Indian capital, affecting flights and trains. And on sports news, the Sri Lankan weightlifter Chaturika Priyanti sets a new record. President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlighted 2 critical challenges facing the nation in building a stable economy and addressing the ethnic problem at the centenary celebration of Badulla Guruthalava Muslim Central College yesterday. The President extended an open invitation to all political parties again, urging them to join hands in achieving these goals, irrespective of party affiliations. President Wickremesinghe emphasized his commitment to safeguarding the rights of all citizens and expressed a desire to swiftly resolve lingering issues related to reconciliation. He revealed plans to make a special statement on these matters in March. The Sri Lanka Transport Board has announced plans to expand its public bus fleet with the purchase of 200 new buses in 2024. The SLTB chairman Lalit Diavi stated the pressing need for additional buses, particularly for long-distance routes. Alvis also stated that a total requirement of 600 buses to effectively serve passengers seeking intercity travel solutions. The decision to prioritize long-distance services stems from the success of the SLTB's online seat reservation program for these routes. The initiative implemented this year has generated nearly 30 million in operational profit. Currently, the SLTB utilizes a fleet of approximately 600 buses dedicated to long-distance travel. With local big onion cultivation seeing a significant decline in the recent past, the Minister of Agriculture is scrambling to introduce technology and support growers to improve production, which authorities claim may double the yield from 1 hectare. It is also learned that the ministry has instructed officials to endeavour to maintain its price at 200 rupees per kilogram next year. These steps have been taken as onion prices soar in the market. It is learned that the ministry had recently directed the Department of Agriculture to submit an immediate report on the cultivation of big onions in the country. Against this backdrop, the ministry yesterday stated that the Field Crops Research and Development Institute in the Maha Iluppalama had taken steps to introduce a high-tech package to increase big onion yield. A sum of 2.5 million rupees will have to be spent on applying the new technology-driven measures on a hectare of big onions cultivation, and the Agriculture Department has allocated a sum of 160 million rupees for the said purpose next year. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. 2 trees that fell near the Kandy Police Stadium caused heavy damage to 9 vehicles which were parked there. 2 persons who were travelling in a 3-wheeler were also injured and admitted to the Kandy hospital. Residents said that both the trees had rotten roots. Traffic in this area was also stopped for about 2 hours due to this incident. Police and Municipal Fire Department and the Army took measures to remove the fallen trees. Veteran announcer and former newsreader of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, Krishna Vairavanathan, has passed away. Funeral will be on Monday, 1st January 2024. The SLBC disburses heartfelt condolences to the family. That ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatma.
Steps are being taken by the government to grant full ownership of state lands to 10,000 people who receive lands under the license system in January next year. This is according to a proposal presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe in the 2024 budget. The Waste Lands Ordinance was passed in 1987. The British government acquired thousands of acres of rural land across the country under that ordinance. Afterwards, in 1935, under the Land Development Ordinance, those land slots were distributed among farmers under the license system. system. But although around 100 years have passed, the ownership of these lands has not been handed back to the farmers and other people who owned them. The President in the 2024 budget said the government will be handing over the lands to farmers who lost the ownership of their traditional lands during the British colonial era. The task, which will start in January, is to be completed within another few years, and 2 million families will get the ownership of land and farmland. The Cabinet of Ministers approved this program on December 11th. Ownership deeds will be issued next January for those who have already applied. For this process, Urumaya units will be established in all regional secretariat offices, provincial land commission officers, interprovincial land commission officers, and interprovincial assistant land commission officers in the country. The Land Commissioner General has issued a circular to the government agencies to inform them about this process. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Paveda.
This is Watchlight. The Ministry of Health reports a notable increase in measles cases across 9 districts. In response to a vaccination program targeting 6 to 9-month-old babies has been launched in Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Galle, Matara, Kandy, Jaffna, Kurunegala and Kalmune, the areas which the highest incidence of measles cases. The program, scheduled for 6 January, will operate from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., providing vaccinations at the nearest MOH clinics. That came to you in Watchlight. Coming up, World News. World News headlines first. Dense fog shrouds Indian capital, affecting flights and trains. Earthquake of magnitude 6.3 jolts Japan's Kuril Islands. India sees single-day rise in COVID cases with 702 new infections. Over 100 flights were affected on Wednesday as the season's worst fog enveloped Delhi in the early hours, plunging visibility to under 50 meters in some areas of the Indian capital as the air quality index dipped. At least one person was killed in the most populous state of Uttar Pradesh following an accident due to the haze engulfing the region. Indian Railways reported delays of more than an hour for many as 25 trains following a red alert issued by the Weather Office for very dense fog in the national capital region. This alert extended to the neighbouring states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. At least 110 flights, including domestic and international arrivals, were affected according to the Delhi Airport Flight Information Display System. The National Centre for Seismology said as an earthquake of magnitude 6.3 on the Richter scale jolted Japan's Kuril Islands today. According to the NCS, the earthquake occurred at 2:45 p.m. at a depth of 10 kilometers. The NCS said the epicenter of the earthquake was found to be at a latitude of 44.36 and a longitude of 149.23. No casualties have been reported as of yet. Further details are awaited. India saw a single-day surge of 702 COVID-19 cases, with the number of active cases rising to 4,097, the country's health ministry said in a statement today. 6 deaths have been reported in the country in the last 24 hours, 2 from Maharashtra and 1 each from Karnataka, Kerala, West Bengal and Delhi, news agency PTI reported, citing Health Ministry's data updated at 8 a.m. today. Back to the world news headlines. Dense fog shrouds Indian capital, affecting flights and trains. Earthquake of magnitude 6.3 jolts Japan's Kuril Islands. India sees single-day rise in COVID cases with 702 new infections. That ends world news.
Development news.
The much-anticipated Sheraton Hotel Colombo, part of the world's largest hotel chain Marriott International, is expected to be officially opened on the 30th of December. Speaking to media, the chairman, Lanka Hotels and Residencies Private Limited, Gamini Gunaratna, revealed that following years of delay owing to the COVID-19 pandemic and Sri Lanka's economic woes, the Sheraton Hotel Colombo which was developed by LHR, would finally officially launch on the 30th of December. He further stated that LHR has invested nearly $100 million in the development of Colombo Sheraton Hotel. The chairman Lanka Hotels further revealed that LHR has entered into a 30-year management contract with Marriott International. That ends development news. Moving on with sports news. Chaturika Priyanti, a Sri Lankan weightlifting champion, made a record-breaking performance at the National Weightlifting Championships. Competing in the 87 kilogram weight class, Priyanti dominated the competition, setting new national records while achieving the highest total weight lifted by any female athlete in the country's history. Priyanti showcased her immense strength and technique, hoisting a remarkable 130 kilogram in clean and jerk, surpassing the previous national record. She confidently lifted 90 kilograms, further solidifying her lead. The combined total of 203 kilograms shattered the existing national record. That ends sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Commercial Bank of Ceylon recently donated an ultrasound scanner to the professional medical unit of the National Hospital Colombo, which is one of the busiest medical units in the hospital. The scanner will enhance the ultrasonography facilities of the unit as large numbers of patients seek treatment daily. According to Professor Prasad Katulanda, head of the University Medical Unit of the National Hospital, point-of-care ultrasonography is considered a cornerstone in the management of several acute medical conditions, mostly importantly dengue fever, sepsis, renal failure, shock and many other conditions where patients become critically ill. That came to you in Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Sri Lanka's gross domestic product has expanded by 1.6% in the third quarter, the state statistics official said, as the economy recovered from the worst crisis triggered by aggressive macroeconomic policy. The economy grew amid rising taxes, but exchange rate stability provided largely, and interest rates also eased as confidence returned. In industry, textile and wearing apparel fell 10.1%, electricity and gas expanded to 4.2%, accommodation, food and beverages expanded to 34.9%, amid a tourism recovery, and banking and insurance also expanded to 29.6%. That came to you on Economic News.
Weather report.
Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the eastern and Uva provinces and in the Hambantota district. Several spells of showers will occur in the northern, north-central provinces and in the Matale and Nuwara districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, are likely at some places in the Ampara, Batiklo and Hambantota districts. Showers or thundershowers may occur at several places elsewhere of the island after late night. Fairly strong winds, about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times in the eastern slopes of the central hills and in the northern, north-central, northwestern, eastern, Uva and southern provinces. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragamu and western provinces and in the Gaul and Matara districts during the morning. That was the weather report, and now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. The President says collective progress is essential to forge a robust nation. The government is to grant land ownership to 10,000 families in January. The SLTB to boost public transport with 200 new buses in 2024. The government is to invest 160 million rupees in tech to grow big onions. 2 people injured, several vehicles damaged after 2 trees collapsed in Kandy. And on international news, dense fog shrouds Indian capital, affecting flights and trains. And on sports news, Sri Lankan weightlifter Chaturika Priyanti sets new record. That ends this news broadcast. And now, as always, on a Thursday night and back after a long break, Mariela, where were you, I wonder? Mariela Van Dort and Navidu all set and ready to give you your choice in music as always on a Thursday night. Back to you both, your friends of course, as well as mine.